there, it's Stephanie, and today I'm going to show you how to fill out your federal tax return for free. That means no TurboTax. That means not paying someone to do your taxes. This tutorial is for single, they purchase a home and they pay a mortgage. This is what this tutorial will cover. I'm going to start by going to the website freefilefillableforms, that's a tongue twister.com. Just get started, click in this button. You can fill out all this information. I've already gone ahead and done this. And then it will send you an email confirmation, which you have to go into your email and confirm the email. But let's go sign in. All right. Okay. So we're going to start with our 1040 U.S. individual income tax return. Before you start filling this out, I would highly recommend having all your tax information available to you, like W-2, your 1099 int, any of your mortgage tax documents. Just have all that available because it's going to make this process a bit easier. All right, so let's start with the first thing. We're going to start with the filing status, which is single. So we're going to come over here and we're going to enter our first name and our middle initial and our last name. And you're going to come and enter your social security number. I'm just entering a fake number. And then for home address, you're going to enter your address. Apartment number if you have one, and town or city, and then what state, and the zip code. Okay, so let's start with the first line of this 1040. On line 1, wages, salaries, tips, that you're going to get right from your W-2. First line of the W-2, it's actually going to be labeled 1, and it's going to say wages, tips, other comp. And you're going to enter the number from that page. So I'll just put in 50,000. And then there's tax exempt interest and taxable interest. Taxable interest would include, your bank interest. So you can go to your bank site and go to your savings account, and there's generally you'll collect some interest. Just add up all the interest you've made from your bank accounts in that spot. Now, if you have a considerable amount of interest, you're going to have to attach Schedule B. We won't be covering that in this tutorial. Okay, so in this space, I'm going to enter 100 of all the interest added together. Going to save this form right now. This form will not save any of your information as you're filling it out, so be sure to come up here and click Save after you've added some information. When we scroll down, we'll notice that it's already making some calculations here. It's gone ahead and added the 100 to 50,000. And what that's saying is this is all the income you've received. It considers that interest as income, and it considers obviously what you're making on your W-2 as income. So the next line here that's pretty important is the deduction. Now you can make a choice of selecting a standard deduction or itemized deduction. That means anything that has been qualified as something the government says, well, if you spent that money on this, then we're going to give you a break on how much taxes you owe us, because you've probably paid taxes or what have you on those deductions. So they've decided for the standard deduction this year that if you want to file single or married filing separately, you can claim $12,200. Now, if you find that you have a lot of deductions you can add, like let's say you have university loans, paying mortgage loans, your itemized deductions might exceed your standard deduction. So if you do TurboTax, you'll notice that they'll allow you to do a lot of things cheaply or for free with standard deduction, but then they'll say, It looks like you can actually save more money with itemized deductions. Do you want to pay more so that we can fill out a different schedule? That's exactly what it's doing. In my case, I had to use itemized deductions. It exceeded the $12,200 amount they have here. So the easy way to get the Schedule A is simply by clicking this Add button, and it's going to bring you to this itemized deductions page. So it's already pulled my information from the from the 1040. So I'm just going to go down the line here. 5, state and local taxes, state and local income taxes, or general sales taxes. Basically, let's say you bought a car or something like that. You can pick to deduct that sales tax for what you paid on the car, or you can deduct the income taxes. I chose income taxes, and I'm just going to put in an amount here. I'm going to write 700. So for state and local real estate taxes, this is where having a house or having a condo, that comes into the picture. So going back to the local real estate taxes, let's say I do own a home and I've paid $4,000 in real estate taxes. Now it's going to say add lines 5A through 5C. Let's try saving this form and see what happens. Okay, so it has auto calculated. Okay, so enter the smaller of line 5D, or $10,000. So basically what it's saying is, if this amount were $11,000, you would have to put $10,000. But because we're under $10,000, I'm going to write 4700. I'm just going to write what's on this line. All right, so home mortgage interest. Your mortgage company will send you a form 1098, and on that form they will tell you how much mortgage interest you've paid. If you haven't received it, if your mortgage company has a website, you can typically print the forms from online. So let's go, and I'm going to just write $4,000 was paid in interest for the mortgage loan. All right, I did want to point out here, if you didn't want to save the form, you can go here to do the math. But then also there's this form here, instructions for the form. There's this button here. And what's really cool about it is whatever form you're on, it will go and pull the instructions. So it just opens a new web page and you'll find the instructions, which are honestly not too bad. If you're just like, let's say you want to learn more about 5A, you can go into those instructions, and sometimes I like to hit Control F or Command F, and you can just hit enter and it'll bring you to the different lines with 5A on it. And you can read about it, and it is helpful. All right, I'm going to save my form. Okay, so you see that we're down at D, mortgage insurance premiums. If you need to add that, go ahead. But now it's done the math, add lines 8A through 8D. So it's done that, A through D. It's only 4,000 here. Okay, this is now gifts to charity. If you've paid for any charity, if you've given on like Facebook or anything like that, you can enter your donations here. You will have to attach a new form, 8283, if over $500. So I claimed, I think $200. All right, and then there's this other itemized deductions. I left that alone. Now, total itemized deductions. Add the amounts in the far right column for lines 4 through 16. Also enter this amount on Form 1040 or 1040 SR line 9. So if I do the math, it will pull down this 200. But aside from that, I'm going to have to go and add these lines together. So if I get my calculator, and I'm going to go, All right, I'm going to start with the most far right numbers, and I'm just going to start entering them in. And 200. Okay, so I got 8,900 in deductions. That's actually, I wouldn't even recommend filling out a Schedule A for this. Remember, the standard deductions they give you is, I believe, 12,200. If this number here does not exceed that, it's not worth submitting a Schedule A. So let's just change these numbers a little bit. I'm just going to increase the numbers so we can see what it looks like with a non-standard deduction. Oh, I got to change this. Okay, here we go. All right, so 7,700 plus 6,000 plus 200. All right, that's going to give me an amount of 13,900. And this is worth keeping here. So I'm just going to save this. It says it's been saved successfully, and now I'm done with this form. It's going to bring me right back to the 1040. I'm going to expand this. And if you click this button here, it allows you to see now your Schedule A, and you can click between the two. Well, let's go back to the 1040. Okay, so if we weren't claiming an itemized deduction, we would go with the standard and would enter 12,200. But since we're doing a Schedule A, and it does exceed the $12,000 amount, we're going to enter this 13,900. Let's actually see if this form pulls it. I'm going to click do the math. Doesn't appear that it does. Nope, it doesn't. So let's just take that 13,900. All right, so we fill that out. Now, if you own a business, doing some kind of business income deduction, we're not going to touch that. And let me just do the math for this line. And it's added lines 9 and 10. So these two lines, it's added up, which there was nothing here, so it comes to 13,900. Okay, so taxable income, subtract 11A, which is that, from 8B, which is this, and you get 36,200. So what that says is the amount that you made in income might have been considered taxable, except because you have deductions, it's saying, okay, well, you know what? Minus the deductions, this is what we're only going to tax you. So this line here, this is where you have to go to, you're going to have to go into instructions for this form, the 1040. And the reason we got to do that is we have to look up basically the tax rate for this taxable income. So remember this number, 36,200. We're going to want to go to the 2019 instructions for the 1040, and we're going to go to the table of contents. We're going to head here to the 2019 tax table, which is page 62, and I'm just going to click that. And here is where you're going to use that number, 36,200. And you're going to find it below here. So, for example, okay, this is 1,000. That's taxable income of 1,000. You're not going to look at this table. You're going to go to the 30,000. Scroll down to the 36,000 right here. Okay, so you're going to come down here and you're going to look at these ranges here. 36,100 to 36,150, 36,150 to 36,200. This is what you want to look at. Okay, so right across here, these are the numbers you're going to be concerned with. And now if you come up here, it said this is what you qualify for depending on what you are, single, married. So this is, we're just covering single. So we're going to come down this column to the 4,147. And we're going to fill that in right here, 4,147. Okay. And save that. And it does already some auto calculations here for you. Yeah, so I mean, you can come down here and see how it's adding. It's actually telling you add schedule to line 3 and line 12A and enter the total. So they're just going through and following that formula. Okay, so 17, federal income tax withheld from forms W-2 and 1099. So go back to your W-2. And you can go to the 1099s as well and see if you have federal income tax. But so if I go to my W-2 on line 2 or number 2, so wages, tips, and comp was 1, and federal income tax withheld is 2, and you're just going to enter that number from the federal income tax. So I'm just going to put 3,000. Okay. And everything else should be fine if you do the math here. It's going to pull down that. And it looks like you owe money. So if there were enough deductions, if this was something where you were going to get money back from the government, this line would be filled out. The amount of line 20 you want refunded to you. Oh, actually, it'd be line 20, not 21. So if the government owed you money, on line 20, you would see an amount here, but we owe it. So there's different ways that you can pay for this. You can send a check, or you can actually, I think there might be an option for you to pay electronically. So once we have that filled out, this is filled out, I'm just going to save this form. And I would recommend printing your return, which you can hit this, and it'll bring you to another web page with everything filled out for you. And you're going to go to step 2, e-file your tax returns. Now you just walk through this step by step. It tells you everything you need to do. Now the one thing that was kind of a pain, I thought, was you can't just scan in your W-2. You actually have to click add here, and you have to fill out the whole W-2 as it is on the form that you're looking at. You have to fill out all that information here. And then you're done with the form. After you've done that, if you have any of these forms, you have to add them on here. Okay, so it's telling you go to box 2, go to box 4 on this form, and go to box 4 on this form. Add all those amounts together. So this is pretty much doing a check. It's making sure that you're getting everything, like you filled out your form correctly. So I can't remember what I put. I think I wrote 3,000 for the, yeah, I think I wrote 3,000 for box 2. Again, just go to your W-2. It's not box 1, it's box 2, and just enter that amount. And then enter on line B the total amount of other withholding from your 1040, line 17, that is not reported on the form section 1 above. Okay. I don't think we have any of those. We don't have any of those. Lines A through C. And that should be an auto calculation, so I'm just going to do the math. And total federal withholding from, okay, so that matches, that's good. Okay, verify your identity. So if you remember your 5-digit self-selected PIN, go ahead and enter that. If you don't, you can look at your last tax return, your 2018 tax return, and it should say on the 1040 the adjusted gross income is. So this line here, adjusted gross income, that's what you're looking for from your 2018 form. Okay, and now your electronic signature, you're going to put a date, cell phone number. You're going to put another PIN, a PIN that you want to use. Date of birth, you're going to use your license plate, your driver's license number. If you're getting a refund, you can skip this step. But this is how you would pay electronically if you choose to do so. You'd fill out your routing, account number, if it's a checking or savings, and date you want to make the withdrawal. And give them a phone number. You would check I agree. Or you can pay by check right here. Or you can pay directly on the IRS Direct Pay website. And if you're having any issues with making payments, they also have a way the IRS will create some kind of plan for you to pay off that debt. All right, so once you've filled out all that information, so one last thing here. It says that my email is currently unverified. Make sure that it is verified. If you want to do that, just go along verify or change your email address right here. Just open a link. And that will take you to your account, and you can send another email to verify your account. And then you would continue to e-file and try to remember. I think there's really not much left to that section. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. But essentially, that is how you file your tax return. It's very easy, very simple. I wish you all good luck and staying safe during this time.